Many men are wandering through life lost and broken. And I can speak that from experience because for a long time I was one of them. The reason is that we don't know who we are. We have been taught and conditioned to look outside of ourselves for validation or for proof of who we are. A couple of years ago, everything in my life collapsed: family, relationship, career, everything, all at once. And it was a blessing because I was able to see clearly for the first time that my life, my actual real life, has nothing to do with anything that's going on outside of me and what I'm experiencing right here. We hear these stories of it's a man's job to protect and provide. And especially if you're a father and you are responsible for children and you do your best to show up as your best self for your family, it's easy to carry a lot of pressure that is not actually yours, that you've taken on from the world. So, this past couple of years and the trials and the initiations that I've been through, I've learned three things. Right? I've become aware of three things that I think every man should know, every man must know to be able to lead his own life in a way that is healthy and fulfilling, and ultimately that benefits his environment. The first thing that we need to speak about, the first thing that you need to know is that you are a vessel of God energy, of source energy, right? Nothing that you see around you could come into form without this energy that underlies it. It's the same thing that keeps the plants growing, keeps the trees growing, right? Keeps life moving in the natural world. So we're not even talking about the man-made stuff here. It's the same stuff that keeps life moving in the natural world. It is intelligent. It is an intelligence that moves through life and that is life, that pervades all of life. You as a man, in a man's body, you are able to conduct this energy. You are able to absorb this energy. This is your primary job. This is your first job, to be a conductor of this source energy. So the first thing that you need to know is that you need to learn how to regulate yourself. This is vital to your health. You must learn how to regulate your own body, how to bring your own body to a state of peace, of true calm. I think many of us know how to perform calm. We know how to look calm on the outside. But if we're really honest, being calm, being internally at peace is a different thing. It's a different thing. But ultimately, this is where we need to be because this is our origin point. This is our beginning point for a healthy life, for a fulfilling life. You need to know how to regulate yourself, regulate your body without the stabilization of anything outside of yourself. There are many ways that we like to stabilize externally, right? I can name some of them: sex, food, alcohol, other drugs, right? We all know these things. We all know these vices that we use to stabilize ourselves or to give ourselves the illusion of stability. That's all it is. It's an illusion. At the end of the day, it all points back to here. Whatever substance you take, whatever behavior you engage in, it's still you that is experiencing the thing. You're the one experiencing the life. And beyond all of those things, beyond all of those vices and addictions, you have the faculties and the means to stabilize yourself, beginning with how you breathe, beginning with how you move your body, how free and fluid you are in your body. You can experiment with these things. You can start with simply go find a breathwork video on YouTube. Go breathe with Sandy. That's what I like to do. Right? You're going to learn a whole bunch of different techniques, how to down regulate, how to up regulate, right? How to connect deeper with your body, how to be present. All of these tools. There are other tools that help you to learn how to move your body in such a way that is natural and fluid to you, right? Beyond the rigidity that we are taught in the Western world. We're taught to be very rigid and, head straight on, and this is what we do. That's not what a man is. That's not, your body is capable of so much more, so much more. So this is the first thing you need to know: how to regulate yourself, how to regulate your body without leaning on something outside of yourself, right? There's more on that, but I'm going to leave it there for now, because the second thing that you need to know how to do, that you need to know, is how to enforce your boundaries, how to enforce your boundaries, how to maintain those boundaries around your peace, because that's what it is. In regulating your body, what you are doing is you're making yourself a pure vessel, like a reachable vessel for God's source energy. Your next job is to protect that energy, is to protect that peace. And nobody gets a pass when it comes to protecting your peace. Nobody. It doesn't matter if it's the woman that gave you life, the father that gave you your 23 of your chromosomes, your siblings, your brother, sister, your own children, your partner. It doesn't matter who it is. Nobody gets a pass, because your first relationship is with God. The first relationship is with source energy. Psalms 118 verse 8 says, "It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man." Right? Take that however you will, regardless of what you believe in. There's wisdom there, which says that your first relationship is with your creator, with your source. That's your first relationship. It takes precedence. It takes priority. That is your job as a man in a masculine body, in this body. And you have the means to do that. You have the means to say no. It's not always easy, because you want to serve, right? You want to serve the people around you, and you shall. You want to protect the people around you, and you shall. But ultimately, you cannot protect another before you know how to protect yourself, how to protect your own peace. Because then you're coming from a healthy place. Then you're coming from a pure place. You're coming from that space of communion with your divine creator. It's vital, it's critical that you know how to protect your peace, that you know how to say no, that you know how to remove yourself when you feel, because it's a feeling. You know what your peace feels like, and you know when something is trying to pull you away from that peace. You know it's your responsibility to say no. It's your responsibility to maintain your peace and to move from your peace, not to move from stress, not to move from fear, from anxiety, to move from that peace, so that that peace gets to flow into the world. That peace gets to move with you into the world. The third thing is agency. It's authority, right? Knowing what you want. And this isn't coming from, again, this is not coming from I've seen this on Instagram, or, this is how this person is moving and that looks good, I want some of that. That's not the same thing. I'm talking about that thing that comes from within, that arises from within, that peace that you have learned to protect. That thing that reveals and unveils as you say your no's, as it becomes clear to you, this is not for me. This space is not for me. This person is not for me. This relationship is not for me. It does not align with my divine relationship. It does not align with my divine state, my peaceful state. Right? These things become clear. You start to realize how much of what you have probably run into unconsciously is actually not for you. It's not actually really aligned with the truth of who you are, with your internal value architecture. Right? There are two words that I like to remind myself of here: truth. Truth is that internal value architecture. That's what your truth is. It is what is revealed to you in that conversation, in that private communion with Source. That is your truth. Your integrity is how coherent. So the coherence between your internal value architecture and your external behavior in the world. If you know your truth to be one thing, but you're still showing up with a mask that undermines your truth, you're living in a split. You're living in a split. And for the most part, so we exist at different stages, right? Many men haven't connected with that truth of themselves at all in their life to this point. Many have and don't know how to bridge that split between this is what I know my truth to be, and this is how I'm actually behaving in the world. This is how I'm actually showing up. Because that's not easy. You have to sacrifice something. Like it takes sacrifice. You gotta sacrifice everything that you thought you were. You have to sacrifice your entire old identity that was not in alignment with your truth. That whole identity must be sacrificed for you to live healthy and fulfilled. And I'm speaking this with a certain level of purpose, a certain level of intensity. Because what happened, like this genuinely affects your health. This genuinely affects your health. This is your God body. When you're not in alignment with it, when you're not in alignment with this vessel, it starts to throw up signals in different ways. All kinds of signals that come out in injury, illness, and disease, in relational conflict, in conflict with yourself. Ultimately, all of these things are the manifestation of internal conflict. Right? So if you're going through this, if you're going through this internal conflict, if you're going through relational conflict with people you love, if you're feeling lost, struggling in your career, if you're having these health problems, the first thing you need to do is lie down on the ground. Being so serious, lie down on the ground. Just close your eyes and lie down on a firm ground. Just surrender your body to the ground and realize that you are held. This is the first thing, because you try and hold up everything for everyone else, but you don't realize that you are held. First and foremost, you are held. You are held. Lie down on the ground and realize that you are held. Remember that you are held. From this space, you can walk into your peace. Your peace finds you. Your peace finds you, because it's your birthright. It's your birthright, but you've been told to run from your peace. You've been told to run away from your peace. But it's right here at all times. You are already at peace. You need only pause, breathe, and realize what is always here. This is the foundation of everything else that you need. Don't worry about anything that's going on out there. That's going to be taken care of, but it begins in here. It all begins in here. Peace.